Jack Burton, and Carolina has a touchdown.
They're like, oh, well, we need real players. Oh, okay. So, you need a quarterback? Sure.
Another opportunity, spins out of a sack, throws it to the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, New Orleans. He's
Up to the 30.
And returning it back the other way is Jack Burton, and Carolina has a touchdown.
They're like, oh, well, we need real players. Oh, okay. So, you need a quarterback? Sure.
Another opportunity, spins out of a sack, throws it to the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, New Orleans. He's
Up to the 30. He's gone, baby. My goodness. Somebody cool off that man's feet because they're on fire.
This is gonna explode big time.
Eleven Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Live from Chicago, Illinois, this is Week 5 of the Simulation Football League's 13th season. And with 1/3 of the season already behind us, it's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. One of the surprises of this season has been the Season 9 runners-up Chicago Wildcats, as they come in with one of the league's top offenses. They will face a stern test from the visiting Tallahassee Pride, but don't let their 2-2 record fool you. The two-time SFL runners-up have the #1 scoring defense in the SFL and are looking to rebound and grab another statement win tonight. Hello, happy to have your company. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Trillo, and I'm joined at the booth this evening by Levant Mercer. Levant, it's a good day in Chicago, and it's a good day for the SFL.
It's a good day to fly because both of these teams love running the air raid, and we're going to have a lot of high-flying action today.
Expect a lot of points, expect a lot of deep passes, and maybe some interceptions as well. The coin toss is won by Chicago, and they will defer to the second half. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff is next. We are just about ready to go here from Chicago. Jesus Garcia is the Chicago kicker. He's got the ball on the tee. He's got his hand in the air. The whistle blows, and it is game on from Chicago, Illinois. Returning it up for the Pride today is Hunter Jones, and he takes it up to the 27-yard line. Let's introduce you to the key players that we'll be watching when the Tallahassee Pride have the football. The quarterback is Christian Christensen. The running back is A.J. Francis. Wide receivers are Ken Gossett, Hunter Jones, and Jason Willis. First play from scrimmage going right to left in this first quarter. We've got 3 receivers bunts to the right and 1 to the left as Christensen is under center. Here's a strong side handoff to Francis, and Francis broke a tackle and got 7 yards on first down.
Oh, Francis was a key man for Tallahassee, but he was also one for Carolina when he played there, and he just shows you time and time again what he's capable of every time he gets the ball.
Touched the ball 22 times for 71 yards and a touchdown in their last week loss to Denver. Christensen to throw for the first time. He's going to launch it down the field, and it's a one-handed catch at the 40-yard line of Chicago. What a catch, Ken Gossett, as that's the kind of thing you'll be seeing all night long.
That it is. He's known for doing that with the greatest of ease. This is not going to be the first time you're going to see a great acrobatic catch by Gossett today.
Gossett's the main man on the Tallahassee receiving corps. 4 touchdowns for him so far on the year. Here's an underneath pass to Grayson Willis. First time he'll touch the ball today. He'll get He'll get 6 rather on first down, sets up a 2nd and 4.
Now, each one of these receivers do and have a different role in this offense, as we've seen Gossett going on up top. Willis is more of the underneath type. He'll make those possession grabs across the sidelines there.
Here is a throw to the far side for Gossett. He'll turn the corner, get a first down up to the 28, as Tallahassee's moving the ball very efficiently so far on this first drive. Let's meet the unit trying to stop Christensen and company. Here is the Chicago defensive stars. Linebackers Clint Hendershot and Blake Craze. Corners Greg Gaines and Jesse Vick. And safeties Maurice Spurgeon and A.J. Barnes. That's what we'll be watching in black, silver, and orange tonight. Here is Christensen, going to throw to the far side, and tapping the toes for 7 yards is Hunter Jones.
Hunter Jones is more utilized as a slot receiver, but as we've seen there, he can also do and make plays on the sidelines there just as well.
2nd down and 3 from the Chicago 22. Tallahassee's already flipped the field from where they started at their own 27. Christensen's short drop over the middle into coverage. That one falls incomplete. Blake Craze was the man that knocked it down, and there was some fierce pressure coming up the middle towards Christensen on that play.
So one of the key hallmarks of Chicago has always been linebacker play, and they finally got Hendershot some help in the middle there with Blake Craze, who's been a Pro Bowler, so he knows what needs to be done on that defensive front there.
Christensen to Willis, first down to the 16-yard line inside the SFL presented by APM Music Red Zone for the first time today. For the Tallahassee offense, purple helmets, white jerseys, yellow pants for them, purple highlights with the paw prints there, and you can see the chat room with SFL Nation chatting it up, cheering on their favorite teams. If you want to get involved, head on over to the 11 Sports Next Twitch channel. To the end zone, Christensen knocked away. He was looking for Gossett, and it was well defended in the end zone there. Greg Gaines knocked it away. Or Maurice Spurgeon, rather, knocked it away.
Pro Bowler in his own right. Some would contend he didn't need to be there, but with plays like this, sometimes just being in the area, I'm not sure why we're looking at him when he wasn't really involved in the play much, but, that happens sometimes. But about him, he has been a Pro Bowler, and he also is very good at run support.
In his 5th season in Chicago after coming over from Carolina, where he played 3. Christensen on 2nd and 10 to the end zone, underneath the coverage, and you can put it on the board. Touchdown, Tallahassee, as Grayson Willis caps off an efficient first drive with his first touchdown of the year.
Well, Tallahassee's always had great wide receivers, and Christensen just knows how to put dots. Look at this dot right there. Right at the perfect spot that ball needed to be, and he knows his receivers have the skill to go out and grab it, so he could lead them out in front. He could put him on he could put those passes on the high shoulder. He could put the high point passes. It doesn't matter how he does it. He's going to get it there. Sometimes, yes, his passes do end up in the hands of other defenders, but that just happens sometimes. Most times, what you see is what you get with Christensen, but that time, right on the money.
I mean, and you saw right there what he's been doing for 5 seasons in Tallahassee. And I mentioned off the top, this Pride team has been to the SFL championship game twice in the past 3 seasons. Unfortunately, lost both of those times to Alaska. But they did get their revenge earlier this season, beating Alaska at home.
Rather resoundingly, mind you.
The return man for the Wildcats today is Corey Carter, wide receiver. And he gets the ball out to the 29-yard line. You see there, passing yard leaders. We're seeing the top man right now, E.T. King. Top passing offense in the league by yardage, and the second most by touchdowns is this Chicago Wildcats offense. Christensen starts under center, offset eye behind him, and one receiver all the way out to the left side. Here's a handoff.
Defenders, but that just happens sometimes. Most times.
To Ash Odom, their running back, and he'll get one. Here are the rest of the notables for and you saw right there what he's been doing for 5 seasons. Chicago, his offense. E.T. King's the quarterback, Corey Carter, Buchanan, Simons, and J.C. Torres the wide receivers. Ash Odom is the running back, and Shan Varner is their tight end.
Key member right there I would like to highlight is Buchanan Simons, because he will get behind a defense and is a deep strike threat. As soon as he gets past the corner, you might as well see him in the end zone.
Same run play as the first for Ash Odom, and he lost 2 yards, so a net loss of 1 over 2 plays. Bernard Gooden makes the tackle. Here are the star players for the Tallahassee defense. Corners, Bernard Gooden and Michael Sprout. Safeties, Sir Chappelle and Alex Bond. And on the defensive line, you've got the big uglies, Taquan Hale, Hunter Norwood, and Kevin Bain. They'll be in the quarterback's face all day long. 3rd down at 11. Now 5 receivers for E.T. King, who throws over the middle of the field and completes it to Corey Carter. Down to the Chicago 43-yard line, so give him 15 yards and a 1st down. And Chicago extends the drive.
So Chicago receivers tend to have a different style to them than Tallahassee's, in the fact that they are able to get separation from their man. They're very good route runners. They can also get in behind the defense, as you've seen there. They have more speed to burn, I feel. And if they get any separation from their man, that's just going to make the day so much easier for E.T. King.
King forced to move in the pocket, dumps it off to Odom, and Odom gets 1 yard before he's tackled by Alex Bond. And that's what I was talking about with the defensive line, Hale, Norwood, and Bain. They will be forcing King to scramble all day long.
Tallahassee's always had a very strong front 7, and while they, have adapted and changed over the years, they've always been able to get into the face of the quarterback.
2nd and 9, long pass down the field, intercepted by Tallahassee. The Pride take the ball away, and it's Sir Chappelle in his 2nd season in Florida. After coming over from Carolina, picks up his 2nd interception of the season, and it's Pride football.
Well, he's just a heat-seeking missile back there. I mean, that's just the quintessential prototype free safety type. You start to see now more and more in football. They're rangy center fielder types that are just able to track the ball down and take it away.
And now the ball back in the hands of Christian Christensen and the rest of the Tallahassee offense. Here's Grayson Willis grabbing 4 yards on 1st down to the far sideline. And I didn't even mention the Tallahassee defense is number 1 in points allowed per game. They allow 16 points per game, best in the league, and have allowed 0 rushing touchdowns on the season. So Ash Odom is going to have a tough time of it today. But Tallahassee is back on offense, and A.J. Francis is bottled up in the backfield and will lose 2 yards.
That's right there when you just have that point of attack right there on the defense, when you're able to just get right through the guard into the backfield. He was even able to use, Odom right there was even able to use the guard to hinder the progress there of Francis. So when you have that much penetration, there's nothing you can do.
Christensen pumps, then throws short to Francis, and Blake Craze is right there, and he loses another yard. It's going to be 4th and 9 and a quick 3 and out. Chicago's defense does the job and will make the turnover mean nothing but lost time. As you can see, Blake Craze is the league leader in tackles, and Clint Hendershot is also there, as you spoke earlier, to the proficiency of this linebacking core for Chicago. Punt is away. And right there to make the tackle is the Tallahassee Special Teams. We will go to a quick break and come right back from Chicago. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Welcome back to Chicago, where the Wildcats trail the Tallahassee Pride 7-0, but another chance for the Chicago offense to get something going here after the interception on their first drive. Michael Chirillo, Lamont Mercer in the booth with you for this one. As three receivers start to the left of E.T. King, but he's just going to throw it out to Ash Odom, and Odom is going to be tackled after a gain of 4 yards. And besides the defensive line, Lamont, what does this Tallahassee defense need to do well to stop Chicago today?
As I have mentioned prior, this Chicago team is probably one of the fastest teams in the league. And honestly, one thing that they really need to do is to make sure that either they stay in front of the receivers, or failing that they have plays in their playbook that make sure that they shade as many, if you have done your game planning well, you should know what type of play Chicago likes to run, and just shade your defense over to that side so there's enough support in the back there so that they can get to the,
3rd down and 5, a short toss to Varner, and he's going to pick up the first down with yak yards. Good run after catch by the tight end will extend the drive on 3rd down for the second straight time. And with just under now 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, Chicago has a fresh set of downs up near midfield at the 42-yard line. Here is Odom up the middle, first time diving straight through for Odom, and he'll pick up 6, and it'll be 2nd down and 4. Back on the previous play, the catch was made by Shan Varner. Varner hasn't had the biggest of seasons stat-wise so far. Only 79 total yards in 4 games and no touchdowns. 2nd down and 4, nobody in the backfield except E.T. King, 4 wide receivers and a tight end. King, pressure, down he goes, back at the Chicago 42-yard line. And that is where the offensive line will burn you. If you send everybody out, you got no protection, and Hunter Norwood says, I eat those all day long.
Not only that, I mean, look at the absolute pace he came off the line there. He got up, jabbed right through the center and guard, and came right at the quarterback in no time fast.
King on 3rd and 11, incomplete. He was looking down the field for J.C. Torres, and it's going to be 4th and 11, so teams trading punts here in the middle to late stages of the first quarter.
So here's the thing about the Tallahassee's defense. When they're able to get pressure on that quarterback, those throws are going to be hurried and hustled through. And that's just the one thing E.T. King is really going to have to key in on if he's going to have any success. A lot of the problems with the air raid offense sometimes is that these routes, they don't take that long to develop. One is just unable to do that.
Well, Jones returns up to the 25. We'll take a short break. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on 11 Sports. Welcome back to Chicago. Tallahassee Pride have the ball, have a 7-point lead with 1:39 to go in the first quarter. Christensen under center. And he'll drop back to throw over the middle. He's got Gossett. Oh, he's got Willis, deep. And Willis is going to scamper across the 50, across the 40, and down to the 38-yard line.
That's just the thing about zone defenses. It's just sometimes you just decimate them with the slot. And that's what happened right here. Came right through the seam right here. And a nice post corner route. And, when a quarterback's able to go through his progressions and find the open man like that, you need to get in his face more.
Well, if you're wondering what you're watching today. This is the Simulation Football League. We are a controllerless esport that puts you on the field and on the sidelines in player roles, coaching roles. As Christensen throws out to Francis, breaks one tackle, and then gets tackled for a gain of 4. If you head on over to twitch.tv/11 Sports Next, you can join the chat with players, owners, coaches, and everybody else involved with the Simulation Football League. We got a bunch of players in the chat right now who are on the field as well. Christensen, back to pass, over the middle. Fumbled by Gossett and recovered by Chicago.
Just going to be another one of those times where we're going to see if he had come down with possession of the football before. And let's look at it. No, that shouldn't be ruled a fumble. I think this is going to be coming back if they challenge it.
Greg Gaines originally picked up the ball, and here is Frank Gooden saying, I don't think so. Let's take a second look at that, Mr. R62, and we will go to the review booth.
So that's what I was saying as he was hit. There was just really, he didn't come down with the ball here. Like, look at him. He didn't even get time to land. It was mid-air when he got hit. So I feel like that's just going to be ruled an incomplete pass.
After review, the receiver did have possession. It is therefore ruled.
And it is correct. The ruling on the field is overturned. Tallahassee will get to keep the ball. There's the chat with everybody talking about that challenge in it. We've got C. Pundy, that's Christian Christensen. Kenny G04, that's Ken Gossett. Alex Bond, 45, is Alex Bond. All those players playing for the Tallahassee Pride right now. Now on 3rd and 6, Christensen under center. Drops back, throws over the middle to Willis, and Willis makes the catch in traffic in front of the linebacking core. And will pick up a first down to the Chicago 25 and extend the Tallahassee drive.
Well, they knew going over the top was going to work, but so they went with a more intermediate route and got the first down. Much safer.
Over the middle from Christensen, tipped it, almost intercepted. Clint Hendershot almost looked like he didn't know what hit him, and it was the football hitting him in the hands. And then he hit the floor as well. 6 seconds to go in the first. This will be the last play in the first quarter. As it's a 2nd and 10 from the Chicago 25. Tallahassee trying to extend a 7-0 lead over the currently undefeated Chicago Wildcats here in Chi-Town. I formation with Francis dotting it. Christensen on 2nd and 10 will throw in the flat to Francis, and he'll get 2. And that is the end of the first quarter. Tallahassee 7, Chicago nothing. We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Tonight's simulation football league broadcast on 11 Sports and 11 Sports Next is presented by APM Music, Production Music Library and Custom Music House, and brought to you in part by Fuel, Beyond Imagination. Visit the all-new SFLinteractive.net today. By Matt Doyle Designs, the official branding partner of the Simulation Football League. And by MediaTek Institute, turn your passion into your profession. Aerial shots throughout the season provided to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit AIRVUZ.com to see more drone footage, as we saw some beautiful shots of Chicago, Illinois, and the surrounding areas. 3rd down and 8, first play of the second quarter for the Tallahassee Pride. Christensen back to throw, plenty of time over the middle into coverage, and it's knocked away. It was intended for Ken Gossett, but the Chicago defense was there, and they're going to force a kick try from Richard Douglas.
Sometimes that's the way to get it out of his hands, is just to jar it loose. So you know if you just try to hit him underneath, he's going to come up with it, so you just give him your best shot. That's exactly what Chicago did there.
It's going to be just about a 40-yard field goal for Richard Douglas. Snap is good, hold is down, kick is on the way. And it is good right down Main Street from 40 yards as Tallahassee takes a 10-0 lead. If you want to learn more about the Simulation Football League, go to simulationfl.com and join our Discord, where you can chat with coaches, owners, players, and staff members. Get yourself on a team and start your journey to becoming a star in our league today. Go to simulationfl.net as Douglas kicks off as Chicago will try to respond in the second quarter. Didn't have much offense, did the home team in the first. And it is returned up to the 30-yard line by Corey Carter.
Now, in previous meetings against Tallahassee, Chicago's had to play up against it on the road, and now they're up against it here at home, so it doesn't look like things have changed, but there's still a lot of time left to go.
1st down and 10. From the Chicago 30, right to left in the second quarter go the Chicago Wildcats, wearing silver helmets, black jerseys, silver pants with orange and white trim. And the pass goes out to Odom, and Odom is tackled after only a gain of 1. And yeah, what you were saying is true, Levant. The Tallahassee is 3-0 all-time against Chicago, but all 3 previous meetings have been in Florida. So, first time Chicago getting to face the Pride at home, and still have not figured out this Tallahassee defense as of yet. 2nd down and 9, 10, 20, and counting to go second quarter. E.T. King moves to the pocket, fires down the field. It's caught! Huge catch, Buchanan Simons, his first of the day. And it's across the 50-yard line of the Tallahassee 40.
This is why I highlighted him at the top of the broadcast. He's one of their leading receivers, and we'll just look at it once again as to why. This is an absolute vertical threat right there. Just went up the ladder and came up with the football, and that's just what he does.
The defender was turned around the wrong way to make the play. Simons made him pay for it, and now A.T. King goes down. It's the second sack of the game for Tallahassee. Taquan Hale gets his first of the night, his 4th of the season. And that'll set Chicago back a little bit towards their own 50-yard line.
That's an interesting technique this time. Most times, defensive linemen don't go on the inside because that puts them closer to the offensive line. But when you are as talented as this defensive line here, you just know that you have the ability to just punch right through no matter which route you take.
King throws to the near side. There is J.C. Torres, his second catch of the day. Gets 2 of those yards back. It'll be 3rd and 12.
I feel like a lot of these play calls have been have been thought about as a way to try to evade the pass rush, but every time they call one of those plays, Tallahassee has those flats covered, and there's just no safety valve to avoid pressure.
King on 3rd and 12. 10-step drop, fires over the middle. It's caught! The safeties collided, and making the catches, Corey Carter down to the Tallahassee 13.
That's just something you see sometimes in baseball where the fielders just end up running into each other, and this is just what we saw right here. It just looked like both safeties just came, they saw their target, but they didn't really know where the ball was, and they just kind of, collided into each other, and I hope they're all right.
Back judge was also a casualty, but that doesn't change the fact that Chicago's in the red zone at the 13-yard line after a huge 3rd and 12 play down the field, and there's a run from Ash Odom that goes nowhere. 2nd and 10 coming up.
If there's something that can be said about Tallahassee's defense, they've been able to stop the run most times. I don't think he's had a yard gained yet.
Well, and if he has, it's been offset by the couple of 1- and 2-yard losses he's taken. Another I formation set up for Chicago. It's another run for Odom, and Odom gets inside the 10 to the 9, setting up a 3rd and 6. Now, a reminder that this Tallahassee defense has not given up a rushing touchdown this season, and they want to continue that streak today, now at 3rd and 6. Don't look like they're going to run it on this play, though, with King in the shotgun. King moves in the pocket, fires to Odom with a lot of work to do, and he's not going to get there. Beautiful lateral speed from Michael Sprouse, the cornerback, and it's going to be 4th and 4 inside the 10 at the 7, and out comes Jesus Garcia to make a short field goal.
Something interesting on that play that I've noticed was the use of the crack back block. That's not something that's, been...
It's going to be just about a 24-yarder. Garcia puts it up, and good. And with 6:38 to go in the second, Chicago gets on the board. It's Wildcats 3, Tallahassee 10. We're going to take a break and be right back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports.
I do it myself, but I only have arms. No thumbs.
Six minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first half. Tallahassee leads Chicago 10-3 as the Wildcats look to stay unbeaten on the season here in Week 5. Michael Trillo, Levant Mercer on the call for this one from beautiful Chicago, Illinois. The Pride will start from their own 26-yard line, and something I mentioned right before we went to break, Tallahassee has not given up a rushing touchdown this year, and you saw why on the back end of that last drive.
And not only that, they've just been able to get through that offensive line with the greatest of ease. When you're able to get into the backfield like that, there's just nowhere to go.
Pass in the flat to Francis, makes a spin move to make one defender silly. That was Blake Craze whiffing on the tackle. He'll end up getting 5 yards on the far sideline, 2nd down and 5.
Not often utilized on the receiving front, but he's still very capable. He has very soft hands and is very capable of catching those passes.
A.J. Francis, the second season running back here in Tallahassee after spending 2 seasons with the Carolina Skyhawks. Hand off to Francis. He looks for a running lane, and none appears as Gotti Odom claims his 2nd tackle of the ball game, dropping Francis at the line of scrimmage.
And once again, just nowhere to run. As soon as he looked up, there was just nowhere to go. All the gaps were filled, and they're only down from there.
Christensen over the middle, knocked down with authority by Clint Hendershot. He's been close to 2 interceptions tonight. And it's 4th and 5 as we're going to highlight Maurice Spurgeon here. As, he almost batted it right into his hands.
Just look at it again right here. You know, knocks it down and whoop, can't come up with it there. Almost tripped over himself too. That would have been embarrassing.
Well, I'm sure the Chicago Wildcats won't care. They're going to force a deep punt from Howard McCoy. It's first of the night for Tallahassee. High snap, punt almost blocked, but McCoy got it away. And an immediate tackle after reception is made. Upcoming schedule here on 11 Sports and the Simulation Football League Twitch channel. Tonight, Las Vegas and Baltimore, Oklahoma City and San Francisco, and then the nightcap. It's the Fan Night Game of the Week. Oh no, it's the Commissioner Game of the Week, as Cameron Irvine and Chris Dougherty have Mexico City and Seattle. Handoff to Ash Odom. Ash Odom is a veteran running back in this league. Was in Queen City for a number of seasons, then in Alaska before that, and came over to the Wildcats in a running back trade that sent Jared Willis, the former Chicago running back, to Buffalo. Second down and 6 after the run. From the Chicago 41-yard line, under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Another handoff to Odom as he goes right up the middle, and it takes a swarm of white jerseys to bring him down after a gain of 3.
It's just something to admire about Tallahassee's nose for the football. As soon as any ball carrier just, latches onto that ball, you have like 6, 7, 8 white shirts already coming down with great pursuit angles, by the way, to get there.
Third down and 2. It's another Ash Odom carry. He shrugs off one tackle, but he's held up just enough. And he is brought down with authority by Michael Sprouse. He's had a couple of big hits tonight. And it's going to be 4th and 1 at the Chicago 46. And out comes the punting unit.
At this point, you might have to start considering having more blockers. You might have to be in more heavier sets. Might have to add a couple tight ends or 2 because they're not able to.
I thought the punter was coming out of the field, but Chicago is set up to go for it. Let's see if they actually pull the trigger. They're just going to try and draw Tallahassee offsides. And it looks like the latter of those things will be true. Tallahassee does not jump. And now the punter, Malcolm Perrin, will come onto the field for the Wildcats.
Just not so sure why every time this happens I'm not sure why this just continues to be something teams call. Most quarterbacks in this league have been here long enough so that their cadences can be understood and well rehearsed at this point. They're just not going to jump off sides, and now you just waste a timeout for what?
It is still the first half, and I honestly don't mind applying this strategy in the first half rather than the second, where timeouts could play more of a factor. Returned up to the Tallahassee 20. They'll try to extend the lead after the break. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports. Stay with us.
It's wonderful. And sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply health care coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private health care is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Welcome back to Chicago. Michael Trillo, Lamont Mercer on the call for Tallahassee and Chicago as the Pride start at their own 20-yard line, going left to right. Christensen, a long rainbow pass to the field is caught by Ken Gossett, and he breaks one tackle and then another, and gets all the way up to midfield, and it took 3 or 4 black jerseys to bring him down.
There's not too many receivers in the league, I would say, that I would trust in multiple man coverage here, but as you see here, it doesn't really matter. When it's Ken Gossett, he will come up with the football and will bail quarterbacks out. At that time, normally what would have been an ill-advised throw, sometimes when you have all the talent in the world, you just get bailed out of jail for free.
You see on the screen the receiving yard leaders as that pass is almost intercepted. As Jeremy Lane, the safety, came down and tried to make a play on the football, he could only knock it away. And it is 2nd down and 10 right at the midfield stripe.
I feel like if Chicago wants to come back in this game, they will have to actually latch on to one of those. People don't make too many mistakes during the course of the game, so you have to take advantage of them.
Start at their own 20-yard line, going left to right. Christensen along on 2nd and 10. Christensen almost intercepted again. Clint Hendershot has been a ball hawk
There's not too many receivers in the league, I would say.
tonight. That's his 3rd pass deflection.
It's not common that linebackers are known for their play in pass coverage. Usually teams like when a linebacker is lined up against someone, but when that linebacker is Clint Hendershot, you just know he's going to be there every time, and you almost want to treat him like a corner.
3rd and 10. Christensen, long pass over the middle, incomplete. Beautiful one-on-one coverage down the field by A.J. Bond. And it's going to be 4th down and 10 right at midfield. Good.
Much today, but just like Maurice Spurgeon, he's a ball hawk back there. And although, the strong safety position is usually one that's the more heavy of the hitters, they are both very capable in coverage.
Punt is away from McCoy. Fair catch at the 14-yard line. And that's where Chicago will start the next drive. Still trailing by 7 here as we get down towards the business end of the first half. Make sure to follow the SFL on Twitter at SimulationFL and use the hashtag #MakeAnImpact to spread the word, talk about the league, get updates as soon as they appear. And while you're there, follow the SFL on our other social media pages as well. We're at SimulationFL on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and more. 1st down and 10 from the 14-yard line. King had to sidestep a tackler, then dump it off to Odom. And Odom will get 4 yards across the middle. Eventually brought down by R.J. Manley.
That's just been the difference in this game. What, the graphic that just came up about. It's been Christensen with the touchdown and E.T. King with the interception. That's really why the score is what it is.
That's the difference in the game, is Chicago got down inside the red zone but could not score in this quarter. And an incomplete pass as J.C. Torres was out of bounds before he made the reception. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6. There's the chat. Been talking about this game all day long at twitch.tv/11sportsnext. Head on over there if you want to join in with the chat. And while you're on the internet, check out simulationfl.net. That's our website. There you can join our Discord and get involved. 5 wide receiver set, King over the middle, and that's another long 3rd down conversion as we hit the 2-minute warning. We will be right back after the break. Tallahassee leads, Chicago try to answer. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. We're under 2 minutes to go in the first half here in Chicago. Wildcats 3, Pride 10. E.T. King and the rest of the offense trying to even up the score before halftime. A minute and 59 to go. First and 10 from the 33. E.T. King. Long rainbow pass over the middle, caught by Torres in a cloud of white and yellow. And a first down across the 50 to the 47-yard line of Tallahassee.
Sometimes you just have to arc a trace, and we're going to look at it again. And when you're able to, or not, but when you're able to just dot the ball with such great precision as E.T. King has been wont to do, you know, those just come easy to.
King, plenty of time in the pocket, throws to the far side and almost throws a pick. Completely underthrew Corey Carter, and Bernard Gooden was there. He almost had his 5th interception of the season.
One thing I will say is that they've really been getting in his head a bit. However, all that being said, is that he hasn't frequently been very well against pressure. He doesn't really have the greatest sense in the pocket sometimes, and Tallahassee's really been attacking that tendency.
Well, they have 2 sacks on the day. This time a pass is complete 5 yards near side. Torres again, he's been one of the main receiving targets for King. 4 out of 5 on completions to him. And it's going to be 3rd and 5. And Chicago has really used 3rd down as a safety valve today, as they have only missed 1 3rd down conversion so far. King changes the play at the line. 5-step drop, throws to the near side. It's caught by Torres. First down and 10, and here comes the up-tempo offense for the Wildcats as they try to get down and put a touchdown on the board before halftime just over a minute to go in the first half, 1:05. And, Tallahassee jumped off sides. It was Taquan Hale. The pass is complete out to Torres, but I think they'll take the penalty. You see leaders for receiving yards. J.C. Torres, obviously the main man on this team. Almost 500 on the year, and that's coming into the day, so he probably has over 500 on the season so far. As you see, Optimus Klein and Ken Gossett also in top 5 for receiving yards in the league. After the penalty, it's 1st and 5. Tallahassee 28-yard line, under a minute to go. In this first half, Chicago 2 timeouts to work with. King moves in the pocket, fires to Ash Odom, and he led him too far in front of him, and he's going to be out of bounds anyway. Actually, he will lose a yard. They'll say make the catch. 2nd down and 6. Does stop the clock with 56 seconds to go.
That's once again, just the timing has been being thrown off by the amount of times he's been hurried and sacked in this game so far. They're going to really need to think about how they're going to change some of their protection schemes and just work on trying to protect them back there.
King, pressure in his face, gets the pass away underneath to Carter. Carter picks up 2. And it's going to be 3rd and 4 as they go up-tempo offense again, still not wanting to burn their timeouts. 3rd and 4, King to the end zone, knocked away. It was intended for Buchanan Soddens, and he was covered brilliantly out there by Michael Sprouse.
And they haven't really been finding much success on those 50-50 balls. They've been getting it downfield, but most times they've only been able to complete passes where the receiver is wide open, but every time that it's been one-on-one, the receivers just can't come down with the ball.
Jesus Garcia, this will be a 43-yarder. And it's good, and Chicago has 6 points before the break with 36 seconds to go. But unfortunately, they get down in the red zone again and cannot convert with a touchdown for the 2nd time in a row.
That's just a testament to how stark this defense has been. they've been able to get in the quarterback's face. If they do not sack him, they're at least able to adjust the timing. And as I said earlier, a lot of these routes are predicated on having these routes develop. And when you're not having enough time to set your feet and throw at the right times, you just don't make those passes.
The return comes up to the 29-yard line. Kenny G04 asks in the chat, who holds the single-season record for receiving yards? Most receiving yards in a season? Well, he's on the field right now. That's Ken Gossett. 2,186 back in Season 10. Tallahassee made the finals that season. A handoff to Francis, and it looks like Tallahassee just wants to take their 4-point lead to the break. As we come down,
as they had it, I honestly would just go to the half.
What have you seen so far from this first half, Levant, that maybe could key you into some of the strategies both teams will try and pull out in the second half to win this football game? As the clock hits triple zeros and we go to the break. Well, head to halftime, your score: Tallahassee Pride 10, Chicago Wildcats 6. We'll be back after the break. We'll keep it right here and discuss the stats and highlights from the first half. Both quarterbacks, 145 passing yards, and rushing yards, nothing to speak of for either team. And time of possession, you'd think. You think just from those stats that Chicago has the lead?
Everything on offense seems to have been worked, but honestly, it's just the difference has been execution in critical moments. And for Tallahassee, it's just been they were able to get to the quarterback. They were able to make him make the mistake that we see here. And that takeaway has really been what is, catapulted this team to the lead that they have. Because while they didn't have the ball for very long, it was this drive in particular after the takeaway that led them down the field to be in this position to get that touchdown. And ever since that point, every time Chicago's just had the ball, they've just not been able to get into the end zone.
Chicago, the big stat I saw for Chicago is 62% on third downs, and a lot of those third downs were 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14. E.T. King has been clutch in those kind of situations, but when they get down to the red zone, they've kicked 2 field goals.
Yeah, then the case once again just goes down to execution. I don't know what it is about the script for their game plan when they get down there, but they just don't seem to attack the defense with the same sort of intensity that led them to the red zone in the first place.
Second half about to start here from Chicago. Wildcats trail the Tallahassee Pride 10-6, and it will be Chicago football to start the second half as Richard Douglas gets ready to kick it away. Michael Trillo, Levant Mercer in the broadcast booth for this one. And we are bringing you an exciting game. The top passing offense in the league currently trailing the top scoring defense in the league 10-6 as Corey Carter with a good return out past the 32 to 34. And we didn't really mention it at halftime, Levant, but what does Chicago need to do to get back in this game and potentially keep that spotless record going into Week 6?
They need to find ways to get more blockers, to get Ash Odom involved in this offense. He hasn't really done much on the ground, and they're going to need to soften his defense up if they want to continue going deep.
E.T. King will go deep on first down. He'll go very deep, and it's intercepted! Taken away by the Pride for the second time, and it's Alex Bod who takes this one away, and Tallahassee will say, I'll take that possession right now, and it'll be at the Chicago 41.
This is, sometimes I call for teams to start going deep, but when you do this, sometimes you try to get it all the way back at once, and if you undersell the receiver there, you're just going to put it right into the defender's hands, and that's just what happened.
That almost looked like a carbon copy of the first interception as Alex Bond moves into the lead of interceptions in the league. He's got 5 on the season. Bernard Gooden also has 4. Hendricks Thornberry from Baltimore has 4. He'll try and get 5 and beyond later tonight. Christensen throws over the middle. Behind the defense, it's complete to the 15 and down to the 13. Good recovery by A.J. Barnes to prevent a touchdown, but still Grayson Willis with a nice catch down the field.
The only real speed threat on this team right here is Willis. And as you just see there, he gets so much separation. And when you have that much space in front of you, then you just know. With Christensen back there, that pass is going to be well in front. And that could have been a touchdown if it wasn't for the great play on defense to just reach out and grab him there.
Now inside the red zone of the 13 very quickly for Tallahassee. This is just the 3rd play, and they're going to hand it off to Francis, and Francis loses a yard. And on the long pass play, I saw that they double covered Gossett, who took a mid-range route over the middle, and that left Willis one-on-one with A.J. Barnes down the field. $9:50 and counting to go in the 3rd quarter. Christensen to Francis, and Francis is gobbled up at the line of scrimmage. Brandon Veazey made the tackle. And now 3rd down at 11.
Haven't really been able to get any pressure towards the quarterback, and I think that's really what they're going to need to do in this half. Chicago is just find some way to get an extra man on Christensen.
Oh, it's intercepted in the end zone. Maurice Spurgeon took the ball away from Ken Gossett, and Tallahassee turns the ball over in the red zone.
No, speaking about that, this was the only time he was been hurt. Soon as he's been rushed for the first time, he had a wide open man. That was the receiver he was looking for, but that pressure just adjusted him in such a way that he was just forced to get the ball out of his hands sooner than he wanted to and right into Spurgeon's hands.
And that's the veteran move that 8 seasons in the Simulation Football League will get you. Read the quarterback's eyes brilliantly, and that is his first interception of the season. King, pressure, down he goes. 3rd sack of the day for Tallahassee, and the 2nd one for Taquan Hale.
Well, most times you can't just single out a specific lineman, and right now it looks like they're focusing more on Norwood. Just been able to leave Hale with absolute free lanes to the quarterback.
Pressured again is King. Over the middle, there's a penalty flag flies, and it was almost intercepted by Jeff Eaton, the linebacker. We'll see what the referee has to say about the penalty. Pass interference will be called on Jeff Eaton. And it's not often that you see this, Lavont. The pass interference, not often called. Usually the referees will let a little bit of roughhousing down the field go, but not that time.
I think it was because the ball wasn't even thrown when he was impeding the receiver there, and that's just the easiest defensive pass interference you could ever call. If the ball's not even out, then it isn't even part of the play.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line for Chicago after the penalty gave them a fresh set of downs, and a good catch by Shan Varner. He breaks a tackle and turns upfield. He'll get all the way to the Chicago 41-yard line.
Doesn't make that many contributions in a game, but when he does, they're always in big moments right here. And look at that, and right there, just eat dirt. Let's just look at it again. This is when you have a tight end on a corner, that's just gonna hurt.
Bernard Gooden could not make the call, or the tackle, rather. And now Chicago at their own 41-yard line. This drive started inside the 20. And Ash showed him. That's his best run of the night. 11 yards and a first down to the 46 of Tallahassee.
Finally able to evade the rush there and have a blocker in front of him. And that's what you're going to need to figure out how to get more out of right there. They were able to seal the edge that time, and Gooden this time was able to just bring him down.
Now across midfield to the Tallahassee side of things at the 46-yard line. 7:52 and counting to go in this third quarter. Chicago still trails by 4, 10-6. Have not found the end zone yet today. King over the middle and breaking through the coverage is Corey Carter, and he makes a diving catch for a 17-yard gain.
Just call a route right here where there's just this soft spot right here in the zone. Every zone defense has at least one or two, and in that cover 3 right there, there's just a couple spots you want to hit, and that route right there just cuts right through them. That slant will always find that zone every time. You just need to get the ball out.
Well, it looked to me like Carter let the football hit the ground on that catch, but no challenge coming from Tallahassee's side, and now it's too late as the next play has gone. Making his first catch of the game is Trevor Driver. He's the opposite tight end to Varner. He'll pick up 5, second down and 5. 6:50 and counting to go in the first half. E.T. King in the gun. Odom alongside him is going to drop back to pass. Good protection. He gets the pass away, and it's almost picked off. Alex Bond had the ball in his hands, and it hit the turf intended for J.C. Torres.
This time there really wasn't any pressure in his face. It just seemed like he undersold the receiver right there. Bond was able to just turn towards the ball first and just couldn't come up with the interception.
It looked like that
will always find that zone every time. You just need to get...
route was supposed to go maybe a couple of yards further downfield into the corner of the end zone. And just the pass came up a little bit short. And now, third down and 5. Third down has been the bread and butter for E.T. King so far today. He's going to throw to the first down marker, and they're not going to give it to him. Short by less than a yard is Corey Carter at the 20-yard line, and it's going to be another field goal attempt for Jesus Garcia.
They've just not been able to cross the 20. Every time they've been in the red zone, they've just been barely within it, and Tallahassee has just not let them through. This is the third time they've been here, and this is the third time they're kicking a field goal.
Kick on the way from Garcia, and he's 3 for 3, this time from 37 yards, and it's a 1-point game. Tallahassee 10, Chicago 9, with a second under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. We will head to a break. Chicago closing the lead little by little. Tallahassee hold them off. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports.
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, then call me right away. You're in charge with the Tax Admiral.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Welcome back to Chicago. Michael Chiarello, Levant Mercer in the booth for this one, and Mr. 23 in the 11 Sports Next, Twitch chat says hello. And we definitely say hello back, as Tallahassee hasn't scored since early in the second quarter, and Chicago's been slowly closing the difference with 3 field goal tries from Garcia. And so now you feel that Tallahassee's going to have to score some points if they want to win this game. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Christensen throws underneath. Pass complete to Grayson Willis, and it'll be 2nd and 4. If you're wondering what you're watching, this is the Simulation Football League. We are the world's first controllerless esport. Real people are the owners of the teams, the coaches of the teams, and the players on the field. And they game plan and strategize every week against their opponents, and the action is then played out live in real time and commentated over by people like me and everybody else on our wonderful broadcast team here at the SFL. 2nd down and 4. A little bit of an awkward pass for Francis to handle, and he can't get past. And we definitely say hello back as Tallahassee has the line of scrimmage as Hendershot and Craze were there to bring him down.
Yeah, shaking his head, and I would too. I mean, when that pass was really high and forced him right into the teeth of the defense. The way he caught it was just the readjustment to the ball, and it sent them in the direction of where all those linebackers were.
On almost intercepted, and it was off the back of the defender, and it eventually pinballs around and hits the ground as Veazey was the one that made the deflection on the ball. 4th down and 4, 3 and out for Tallahassee, and Chicago's going to get a chance to take the lead after this punt by Howard McCoy. It's going to be decent field position for Chicago as well, as McCoy's going to get this punt away from the 20-yard line. Punt caught at the Chicago 30, and it's brought up to the Chicago 35. Upcoming broadcast schedule, you've got 2 games at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. That's Las Vegas and Baltimore, and Oklahoma City and San Francisco. Then tonight, Cabot Irvine, the commissioner, and Charles Doherty will be on the call as Mexico City visits Seattle. And then Monday night, you've got more games, and Tuesday night as well. Visit simulationfl.net for all the SFL news that's fit to print. Handoff, Ash Odom. He makes the tackle, and he's got a big first down. Almost up to midfield. He's down officially at the Chicago 49-yard line.
Quarterback was almost tackled there on the handoff, but as soon as he was able to get the hand off, there was just no other defender in the vicinity, and that just is really what was lacking from this offense earlier was the presence of the running game. But in this 3rd quarter, they've been able to get some running room for Ash Odom to go through.
Odom, one of the best running back careers in recent memory in the SFL. This is his 5th season, his first with the Chicago Wildcats after coming over in a running back trade with the Queen City Corsairs. Coming into the game, he had 5 touchdowns. He'll look to be getting more of those in the last half of the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. 2nd and 4. The linebackers creep up to the line of scrimmage for Tallahassee. Here's another run for Odom, and he's going to try and stretch toward the first down marker. He's going to be a yard short.
You're not always so sure whether those linebackers creeping up on the line are actually blitzing or not, but I think that time we really needed to just kill the play and try maybe to, pass the ball there. They weren't able to get the first down here.
Run blitz works to perfection for Tallahassee, and now on 3rd and 1. Heavy set in the backfield. Blockers in front of him. Odom, can he get there? No. Maybe gained a half yard, but needed a yard and a half. And Ash Odom is a yard short of 60 yards and a yard short of the first down.
And that's just been the case in the second half so far. They're able to drive down the field, but they're not able to cross the threshold.
Now let's see if E.T. King and company pull the trigger here. They will. Here's Odom. First down as he dives forward to the Tallahassee 38. And that is a beautiful example of why you should go for it in those 4th and short instead of trying to draw him off sides.
Honestly, I would love to see teams do this more often where they actually get the play off. I mean, if they're all going to play chicken and try to catch teams offside, then actually getting the play off would be not what the defense is expecting.
E.T. King to the far side for Torres. Torres catches the ball and steps out of bounds after a gain of 3.
Tallahassee
Remember to like the SFL on Facebook. We're at Simulation FL. You can share your SFL glory with your friends and invite them to join the league as well. 2nd down and 7 offset I. Only a single receiver is Torres. It's going to be a short throw underneath to Alfonso Frady. That's the fullback. And it's going to be 3rd and 4.
I think a good deal of their success is that they've been able to make 3rd down pretty manageable. I know earlier you said that most of their 3rd downs have been in 3rd and long situations, but in this second half, it seems that they've been making it more and more manageable as the game's gone on.
King to the far side. Did they get enough yardage? No, and they didn't even get in bounds as the pass was intended for Torres again. You see updated quarterback comparison numbers. It's going to be 4th and 4. Tallahassee 32-yard line. I think they're just outside of field goal range here.
They may very well be. I'm not sure if they're going to go for it again, and they will not. They will elect to punt.
Would have been a 50-plus yard field goal, and Garcia maybe not having that in his locker today. So Malcolm Perrin on the punt, trying to pin the Pride deep, and he will do so as the ball goes out of bounds at the 4-yard line. What a great punt.
The punt was very good, but I feel like the coverage team needed to let that bounce one more time. I think he could have let that ball bounce one more time before awkwardly sending it to the sidelines there. I think the gunner misread the trajectory of that ball. I mean, I understand the idea. At least it's still within the 5.
Copy that. You want break at the end.
Christensen almost sacked for a safety, but he gets the pass away. Over the middle, it is complete. And escaping danger there, Jason Stackhouse. Tight end on the catch, 2nd and 4 at the 10-yard line. High formation, 2 receivers left. Christensen going to throw to Francis, and Francis had no blockers and really no chance on that play. There's the chat. If you want to join in the conversation with the rest of SFL Nation, get on over to twitch.tv/11sportsnext. That is the home for the chat for every game on the 11 Sports Network. Christensen. It's caught by Francis, and he's a yard short. Almost got there, and a fantastic tackle. Just a yard shy of the first line of the first down marker. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. 11 minutes to go. Put your 4s up in the chat. Chicago 9, Tallahassee 10. It couldn't be any closer as we head to the final frame. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
I'm John Edwards, chair of the ICF's Paracanoe Committee. Well, we've got 12 events here. We've got 35 nations from around the world here, from all continents, and we have approximately 135 athletes. So we have two boats. We have the kayak and the Va'a boat. The kayak is slightly wider and a little more stable in the water than the able-bodied boat. The Va'a boat is a boat which stems from Oceania and has the pontoon on one side, and of course it is tremendously stable. It's a very intense 200 meters, very exciting, which makes also very exciting finishes. There's no question this is the highlight of the year. This is also where the canoe sprint community is. This is really the highlight of ICF canoeing in the world. There are over 1,000 athletes altogether, and the event, very specially, is totally integrated. Athletes who have impairments feel totally welcome within this display of able-bodied athletes as well. It's a very positive and welcoming atmosphere here. Our first World Championship, where it was an exhibition event, was 2009 in Canada, and it has been on an absolute wonderful improvement. Every year there have been improvements, and performances have really surprised us and also surprised the International Paralympic Committee. It's all positive.
The NFL on 11 Sports is brought to you in part by Nation's Best Football, helping NFL, college, high school, and youth players help hashtag secure the bag. By ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. By Sector 6, custom esports jerseys and apparel and the exclusive SFL shop provider. And by Spygo, dedicated to the craft of audio. Aerial shots provided to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage, just like the footage you're seeing of Chicago, Illinois. We've hit the final frame of play tonight. Tallahassee Pride are punting it away from their own end zone as they only Chicago Wildcats 10-9. Chicago trying to come all the way back and remain unbeaten. Michael Cirillo, Lamont Mercer on the broadcast for this game. Alfonso Freeney with the return up to midfield, and Chicago will have to go 50 yards, or really just enough yards to get into field goal range if they want to take the lead in this fourth quarter.
Their defense has been having it all to do so far in this game, but they've been doing well enough to keep them in the game. But I feel like Chicago, they really want to seal it. They need to score 7. They've had a hard time doing that today.
Ash Odom, he's had a better second half than first. Gets 3 yards on a run. And Tallahassee's offense has been pretty much nowhere in the second half. They've scored no points, and Chicago's come back at them. And I feel like Tallahassee's going to have to score if they want to win this game. But let's see if Chicago can take the lead here with 10:25 to go in this fourth quarter. Long pass from E.T. King is a incomplete one as Torres ran a different route. And it'll be 3rd and 8.
Yeah, that looks like your standard case of miscommunication in the huddle. You call a play, the receiver didn't quite catch what was said. He gets to the line, the play develops, he throws in the direction he expects the receiver to go, and the receiver's nowhere to be found.
Now 3rd down and 8, but this has been E.T. King's bread and butter all day. Over the middle, incomplete. A vicious hit by Alex Bond. Knocked the ball away from the receiver's hand, and it's going to be a 3 and out for Chicago.
Just look at Jeff Eden. He was the one with the pass interference call earlier, and I'm not sure why we're focusing on him there. He kept his footing on the play, as we see that actually someone else has made the tackle.
Yeah, that was Alex Bond jarring the ball loose. He's had a good day, Alex Bond. An interception, a couple of pass breakups. Now Malcolm Perrin on to do the punting. Punts away from the 40-yard line of Chicago. Going to try and pin Tallahassee deep, but a good spin move and a second one by Grayson Willis will bring the ball all the way out to the 20-yard line. Let's take some fourth quarter chat shout-outs from twitch.tv/11sports next. We got Mastermind 450, C. Pundy, Mr. 23, Nick Castle, AJ Today Jackson, to Brown Knight, Tom Rahman 11, and everybody else. I see Jay Core, Eddie Gage also in there. So glad to have you supporting us all season long. 1st and 10. Christensen under pressure. He gets the pass away, and it's complete underneath to Stackhouse for 8 yards. And that's a veteran quarterback play right there.
Yeah, he just sees the pressure. He's his safety valve there. Stackhouse has been with this team for quite some time. He trusts him. He's not involved in the offense too much, but when it comes down to making plays like that, the bail his quarterback out, he's always around to make sure that he comes down with the grab.
You see the passing leaders of the Simulation Football League coming into the week. Christensen moves in the pocket, throws down the field into triple coverage. It's tipped out of almost intercepted by a couple of defenders for Chicago. Jesse Vick had his hands on it. So too did A.J. Barnsbury. Spurgeon was also in the area, but it falls harmlessly incomplete, and Tallahassee will have a chance at a 3rd and 2.
I'd like to highlight the hit at the end being that was an incredible heads-up play because the ball was headed towards the safe hands of the receiver after that ball around, but they make sure that no one comes up with the ball.
Christensen hit as he throws, and the ball goes into the turf. Kevin Owens got the pressure, knocked Christensen to the ground, and Chicago forces a 3-and-out of their own to start the 4th quarter.
If there's been any team that seems to have been making, small adjustments, but just enough adjustments to have actually changed the course of this game, I feel like it's been Chicago blocking a punt there.
Punt returned by Freeney. Up to the 34. We got 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this ball game. Tallahassee still leads by 1, but Chicago's got the football. When we come back, this is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports. We've got just over 9 minutes to go in Chicago with a 1-point deficit at home to a team they've never beaten, the Tallahassee Pride. But they've got an undefeated record on the line here in Week 5 of the Simulation Football League's 13th season. Glad you're joining us this evening on the SFL Network on 11 Sports as a handoff to Ash Odom goes for 5 yards. Michael Trillo and Levant Mercer on the call for this one. And Levant, we were talking during the break about how invisible the wide receiving core for Tallahassee's been in the second half.
Right, in the first half, they've been all with 1 reception each or more. They've been able to get down the field, but in the second half, they just haven't been able to get anything going. Christensen has been under pressure in this half, and that's not something that you saw earlier in the game. And I just think the fatigue and the way this game has been going has just been draining both of these offenses from out of strength. And instead of the defenses getting tired, it's been the offenses being worn down.
This is a completely opposite game than we predicted. As up comes a 3rd and 3. Up steps Ash Odom, but Ash Odom dives, and he's not going to get there. He was dragging a defender with him. Jamal Carroll, the linebacker for Tallahassee, and he pulled up just inches short.
It's just been the terrible case and just the same sorry tale for Chicago as that punt's almost blocked again.
So both offenses dueling 3-and-outs with the first 3 drives of this 4th quarter. And, the only one that's a fan of that is Tallahassee, who still leads by 1. But it only takes 1 play for Chicago to get back into it. It only takes 1 play for Tallahassee to maybe seal the door. because both of these teams have deep threats. Ken Gossett's been very quiet this second half. I'm not sure if he's made a catch or not. I don't think he has, but my memory serves me rightly. Here's Ken Gossett makes his first catch of the second half. It's underneath for 7 yards. He was listening to me when we were talking about him on the sideline. Dragging a defender with him, Jamal Carroll, the linebacker.
And that stat right there probably proves you true with only 4 catches, as those 4 catches were as 3 of those catches were in the first half. So that was his 4th.
And every time that either of these teams has gone deep, it seems the corners and safeties have been right there to knock the ball away. 2nd and 3 for Tallahassee. Christensen back to pass. Sidearm says a throw. Oh, it's almost intercepted for a second time by Spurgeon as the pass was interrupted at the line of scrimmage by Christensen getting knocked to the ground.
One thing I've been noticing from Chicago's defense is they're adding on the hat count there to blitz. They were able to get through the gap right there because that wasn't a lineman through the edge. That was a linebacker, and that time got to Christensen and altered the path of the pass.
3rd down and 3. Big play here for the Pride. From their own 26-yard line. Gonna throw to Francis. Turns the corner. First down and more. Past the 30 to the 31. And A.J. Francis converts a big 3rd down and takes more time off the clock.
Cannot really give Francis room to run, and I feel that time you needed to pursue the ball carrier with more aggressivity there. I understand he has the strength to knock a defender down, but you need to slow him down so that the support behind you can come get him, and that time that was just a failure to attack the ball carrier.
To the near side is complete to Grayson Willis. The other receiver that really has been invisible in the second half for Tallahassee is Hunter Jones, as most of the passes have been to Willis, as it's going to be 2nd and 1 after the 9-yard gain.
I mean, if you're covered, you're covered. There's really nothing one can do about that. I mean, Chicago has a very strong secondary. If they've keyed in the side that Gossett is, usually Hunter Jones is on the same side. It's just hard to get to him.
They're going to throw on 2nd and 1. They're going to throw down the field on 2nd and 1. And Maurice Spurgeon could have a hat trick of interceptions today as he knocks down another pass.
Once again, that time that pass was intended for Jones, and he just wasn't. It's just been what I've said. The secondary on that side is shaded on the side that Jones and Gossett are lined up on, and when that happens, there's just really no way to get him open.
3rd and 1. Christensen going to throw again, but it's an underneath route to Willis, and it's converted for a first down up to the Tallahassee 27. 2 straight 3rd down conversions for Willis.
That's just been a bread and butter for most teams in this league. That out route, just make sure that you throw on the inside shoulder and just have the ball safely away and inside, away from the defenders, right into your receiver's hands, and hope he doesn't get decked.
Bunch formation right. Single receiver left on 1st and 10. Another underneath crossing route to Willis. And Willis picks up 3 yards as the clock continues to run. Now down under 7 minutes to go and almost down under 6 minutes to go before the next play.
Seems almost as if Willis is the only man open on these plays. Once Chicago starts adjusting and started shading him more over towards his side, you might see Gossett and the side that Jones and Gossett are lined up on, and Jones more involved in the offense.
Here's a throw out the flat to Francis, a spin move and then a stutter step gets Francis 11 yards and a first down to the Chicago 42. And the last time we saw Tallahassee be this efficient on a drive was the first drive of the game back when they scored.
And right here,
touchdown.
you just have Francis out right where he likes to be the most, just right out there in the flat. And no matter what defenders are there guarding it, he's going to be able to just get around his man, or you expect him to be able to every time. I mean, that's just the type of back he is. He's really shifty and elusive.
1st and 10. Here come the linebackers for Chicago all the way up to the line. They're going to drop them back in coverage as Christensen goes deep. Christensen has a man. It's caught inside the 20 and down to the 16. It's Grayson Willis again.
I mean, you got to go back to what works, and that's what's been working for you. Now these plays are designed to get Willis open, and look at this pass right here. Right in between two defenders, as easy as you'd like. You could put that ball right like a needle to the receiver. That was picture perfect.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line. Tallahassee going to put this game away, and Ken Gossett makes a catch for 5 yards. Where was this Tallahassee offense for 3.5 quarters?
I mean, it was there in the first for some of it, so it was more like 2. But it hasn't really been the case much in this fourth. I will give you that. But, you know, whenever once you finally do show up, you have to come out of this with points.
And probably they'll want 7 as opposed to 3. Christensen to the near side to Willis again. Same out route as the last play. He doesn't get 5 yards, gets 4. And it's going to be 3rd and 1 inside the 10 and down to the 8.
There's not been much running done by Tallahassee of late, and I feel like with the down and distance and the distance they have left to the end zone, maybe they would like to surprise Chicago a bit, line up in a passing formation and run it, but that's not what it seems to be done here.
3rd and 1. It's another underneath to Willis. That's worked so well on this drive. 3 third down conversions on 3rd and 4 or less to Willis on the out route.
They're also gaining a lot of time back from the time of possession that they lost earlier in the game. Like, yes, they were ahead, but that was one part of the game that they weren't ahead in. And now, with this drive, they look well poised to probably seal this game.
1st and goal from the 3. Christensen under center back to throw. He's going to throw to the end zone. It's going to be caught, but outside of the back of the end zone. Grayson Willis couldn't keep his feet in bounds, and it's going to be 2nd and goal.
He's finding himself open, but at this point, at this distance away from the end zone, there's just not a lot of space back there. I understand that you need to go back to what works, but I really feel like you need to get Francis involved here.
From the 3. Just over 4 minutes to go in the ball game. Christensen underneath to the goal line. It's not going to be enough. Jason Stackhouse, the recipient of the ball, but Clint Hendershot denied him the touchdown. It's going to be 3rd and goal from inside the 1-yard line.
I have a lot of praise for Chicago and both teams mostly on defense. They've been able to really have such amazing goal line stands, the likes of which I've not seen in quite some time.
They're in a passing formation on 3rd and goal from the 1. Francis stands alone to the backfield. Christensen going to throw. Christensen to the end zone and wide open. Caught for a touchdown. Jason Stackhouse put it on the board. Tallahassee takes a bigger lead and puts all the pressure on Chicago.
Your defense was just caught napping there. They all looked towards the side that Francis was on and just let Stackhouse go. There's no one there for miles on end. And you just see right there, the entire defense was fixated on Francis, who hasn't really done much with the ball when he's received it on that side, and they just let the tight end through underneath, unguarded.
Douglas puts the extra point up and good. Chicago now with all the work to do to maintain an undefeated record of the season. We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports.
You need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Chicago is in danger of losing their undefeated record here at home and dropping a fourth straight game all time to the Tallahassee Pride. They're down 17-9, down by 8. So they got to put it in the end zone. It's now or never for the hometown team. Michael Trillo, Levant Mercer taking you through the final couple of minutes of this one. And what are they going to have to do to break the curse, I would call it, of the red zone offense?
They really can't take too much time off the clock to do this. So honestly, I feel like they need to just have a route designed to get one of their receivers open. Probably Simons is the fastest they have, and just try to push the pressure down
King,
the field.
Down the field, caught by Varner. Varner breaks the tackle and gets inside the 40 to the 37. Well, you could do it that way too.
Or you could just get someone that wasn't expected to catch a deep pass down the field right there, post-quarter route, and, you know, when you just see that there's really no one in the vicinity, yeah, just throw it to your tight end. As Mike Dax would say, you know, tight ends matter, and they did there on that play.
Yeah, you called Buchanan Simons as the man who make the catch on the field. Simons was the decoy on that play. He ran the underneath route that left Varner wide open. Now with 2:53 and counting, here's Ash Odom up the middle, tackled for a gain of 1. As Alex Bond was there to make the tackle, or excuse me, rather, Jamal Carroll was there to make the tackle.
Well, they did get one thing right at least. They did deceive the defense with, you know, certain route patterns, and
they jumped offside, so Ash Odom is going to break a tackle, and it's going to be close. I think they'll take the extra down rather than the yards here. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to take the extra down and put them that much closer to their end goal and give them an extra play to work with.
yeah, I think that's the right choice.
Upcoming broadcast schedule casts all the SFL action tonight, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Las Vegas and Baltimore on 11 Sports, Oklahoma City and San Francisco on Twitch, Mexico City and Seattle on 11 Sports at 9 Central. E.T. King pumps, goes to the end zone, tipped and away. It was intended for J.C. Torres, but Sir Chappelle was there. He had the first interception of the night for the Pride, and he knocked the pass away. It's 3rd and 4.
Like, I like the idea that Chicago was going with there. I just do not like the execution. I feel like if you were to try to pass deep, you need to do it the way you did with Barner earlier. You have routes that surface decoys that get someone free. You do not run a combination pattern.
King out route to Varner, and Varner gets tripped, or Torres rather gets tripped up before he could turn the corner. He had room to run, but he's going to be short of the first down, 4th and 2. And, oh boy, as we get to the 2-minute warning, we're going to take a break as we hit 2 minutes to go. A big question mark for Chicago. Do they kick or do they go for it? Find out after the break. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on 11 Sports. It is time to find out if Shad Varner and the rest of the Chicago coaching staff are betting men or not. And they're going to bet on their offense to get 2 yards to keep the drive alive, down by 8 with 2 minutes to go. King under center. King going to throw. He's got plenty of time. Goes underneath. It's incomplete. He was headed for Buchanan Simons, and he threw the ball too far in front of him, and Tallahassee takes over with 1:57 left.
I think that was just the pressure getting to him there, because quite clearly, I think it's evident to you and me that I feel more like J.C. Torres was more open there on that curl route, all by his lonesome. He just didn't have time to go through his progressions to see him.
The Chicago defense is now going to have to do something drastic, and they're going to have to take their first timeout there as the pass is complete over the middle to Jason Stackhouses. They're going to have to pull a 3-and-out out of the bag here and then give their offense one more chance to go down the field and score.
They're going to need to score and get a 2-point conversion here, but Tallahassee really just needs a first down and just to drain the 2 remaining timeouts.
Pressured is Christensen. Throwing is Christensen. Intercepted by A.J. Barnes. He threw into the teeth of the defense, and the defense bit back. Chicago has another chance with 1:46 to go.
I'm really just not understanding why you're passing here, but, that's what they did. They called it, and right there, Barnes just backtracks a little bit, made sure he was in position, and just made a wonderful play right there through the middle.
Well, now everything you knew about this game so far was wrong. Chicago's got another chance to get in the end zone, which they haven't been able to do all day today. Against the stout Tallahassee defense, E.T. King throws near side, caught by Simons. And they're going to have to go hurry up. They're not going to burn a timeout with 1:35 to go. King out to Ash Odom, and the blocker didn't get set. That was Shad Varner out there that missed a block, and it's going to be 3rd and 1. They're going to keep the up-tempo offense here. 1:21 to go. 1:19 of the snap. King over the middle. Caught by Torres! Inside the 25 and down to the 23. Up-tempo offense continuing for the Wildcats. E.T. King to Ash Odom. Lots of work to do. Down he goes. Up-tempo offense continues. They've got 2 timeouts and now under a minute to go. King, pressure at his face, gets the pass away to Simons. Simons breaks a tackle, then gets bowled over by Michael Sprouse. 45 seconds to go. They're still not going to call one of their 2 timeouts. King to Odom again. Odom can't get the job done. They got to call a timeout here, and they do. It's 4th and 4. The game is once again in the hands of E.T. King on a 4th down.
Once again, they're just within 25, and they're just not been able to cross that threshold. The one time that they have, they just cannot get into the end zone.
4th and 4, this is the ball game. King looks, throws underneath, and it's caught for a first down to the 12-yard line. Tyler Baker with his first catch of the game saves it for Chicago. King, end zone, off the hands of Torres with 16 seconds to go.
That was really what they needed to do earlier. Just try to put more faith into the receivers and just try to, have more of those 50-50 balls up in the red zone instead of trying to play sweet underneath. But at this point, you really just need to come up with a catch there.
They've got maybe 2, I'll give them 3 downs to get in the end zone. King, pressure, there's a penalty flag flies, the pass is incomplete. We'll see what the call on the field is. This could be huge if it's against, either team really.
Clipping, number 69.
It's clipping! against the Chicago Wildcats.
I'll just see right here, and I do not really see it. Let's see.
I think it's harsh by Brandon Ainsworth. He just held up Jamal Carroll.
I do see a bit of an attempt to catch him by his shoelace there, so this is the rare time that I suppose you could call it, and they did.
And now they've got to get in the end zone from the 30-yard line instead of the 12. King throws long, incomplete, knocked away by Sir Chappelle and Alex Bond.
A little more air under that pass there. He did get up off the top of the defense there, but he just didn't have enough air under it and just got deflected by Bond instead. Oh, by the way, that they were really lucky not to have had intercepted King instead.
Will the number one scoring defense of the SFL hold on here? 3rd and 28. E.T. King to the end zone. It's caught at the 5. At the 4-yard line, they're going to place it. Buchanan Simons caught it in traffic. And now they burn their final timeout. They're going to have one play to put it in the end zone. Could you get any more dramatic at the end of a football game? Levant, last week we had a pretty dramatic one up in Vancouver as Baltimore completed a last-second comeback. Are we going to see Chicago complete a last-second comeback here? The game is on the line on this play. Got to get in from the 4-yard line or the game is over. E.T. King alone in the backfield with 4 wide receivers, and Shan Varner is there as well. King, back to pass, pressured, sacked, and the ball game is over. The Tallahassee defense comes up huge, and the Pride survive and hand the Wildcats their first loss of the season in an amazing 4th quarter.
You're just looking at the stats here. Chicago had most of the time of the possession, but just ended up short of not being able to use it. And here I think part of why they just didn't do very well in this game was just simply they had too many turnovers. They just weren't able to execute once they got into the red zone. That defense just was almost impregnable once it got into the 30-yard line. There was just really nothing Chicago could do to solve it. In the first half, they were just getting sacked left and right. They had a lot of pressure in E.T. King's face. They got that rectified in the second half.
On this play. Got to get in from the 4-yard line or the game is over.
He hasn't been sacked in the second half, but they just weren't really able to cross that threshold. For Tallahassee, they've just done what they needed to in the first half to really break through. They got those points early on in the game. They had a slower second half, but they were able to climb up the running game. Odom wasn't able to get anything going, and honestly, what was just the key difference were those 2 takeaways going straight into the end zone afterwards on the drive that followed it, and that was really short of not being able to use it. And here I think really the key difference. There were a couple plays here and there that Chicago could have taken away that they were not able to execute once they got into the red zone. That defense just deflected it instead and came off their hands, and just these unlucky bounces and different plays that have occurred during the game just have not really have put them in a position to do anything.
Well, not the game we were expecting, but an exciting game nonetheless. Your final score, Tallahassee Pride 17, Chicago Wildcats 9. The Pride improved 3-2. The Wildcats dropped to 4-1. Reminder, SFL action is coming your way all day, all evening tonight on 11 Sports. The SFL's Twitch channel is Grayson Willis is going to be player of the game, and well-deserved. He was the number 1 receiver for Tallahassee. But yeah, SFL action coming your way throughout the evening on SFL's Twitch channel, 11 Sports, and 11 Sports Next, and also Monday night and Tuesday night. Visit the simulationfl.net for full schedule. That'll do it from us from Chicago, Illinois. For my broadcast partner, Lamont Mercer, I have been your play-by-play commentator, Michael Cirillo, and we'll see you next time.